All right, day 22. But today is Monday, August 10th. Currently, I am in the process of heating up some chicken in my air fryer, and that's going to be my first meal of the day. And also, as a sort of like update on my weight, I've gotten back on sort of like the losing weight. That's where I was starting to sort of stall out, but then I started going back down, having it started back on a downward trend again. So that's a positive. Like I said, like last night, I was going to work on trying to create an image, some sort of like environment painting. Probably going to end up being digital. I think I'm going to do it digitally using that setup that I did last night. So I think I'm going to work on that. Beyond that, going forward, like I think what I might want to try to do is in regards to the thumbnails. Like I made that sort of consistent thumbnail, but I'm thinking probably what I'm going to need to do, especially like I've already said that I'm not interested necessarily in how many views this is, but I'm curious as to what would result in something being more clickable or might end up getting more attention, even if I don't necessarily care if this particular series that I'm doing gets any sort of attention or if anyone finds it interesting to watch. But doing more sort of custom to the content of each specific video thumbnail. The thing, again, is that would end up taking a lot of time. That would take a little bit more time to make sort of the custom thumbnail for each video to be specific to the content of that video. But even beyond like doing the series, other content that I choose to create is going to have to end up doing that. And what I could do is, first off, create custom thumbnails for some. I think I already mentioned this. Make custom thumbnails for some of my older videos. Like one of the previous videos, where it was me working on that, the digital drawing, the digital image of like sort of the farmer with the axe. That ended up getting like 4 views. I don't remember if one of those was me already clicking it, but it ended up getting views on its own. Like it ended up getting like more views than the other ones, and I think it was probably because of how like just the image in the thumbnail that one I guess stood out. I was trying to make a consistent looking thumbnail that was somewhat professional. At least in my opinion, at least I tried to make something that looked somewhat professional. But when all the thumbnails look the same, other than just like the name or like the title, like what the day is, it's not going to necessarily draw attention unless that specific thumbnail is particularly interesting. And I even mentioned this I think before when I made it, that the thumbnail itself, I guess, isn't necessarily that eye-catching. I think another thing is maybe making the titles more informative of what is in the video. Obviously, that would go away. That would go a ways in telling people what the video is about or what is included in that video. Obviously, and if they're going to click on it, they'd be more likely to click it. Thing is, I'm bad with titles. I know I've always been bad at titling things, naming things. It doesn't really sound like the trait of someone who would consider themselves creative. He's like, I can't create a name. I can't come up with a name of this. What am I supposed to call this thing? I just like creating things. But usually, I guess, like, when you create a name, that implies meaning. But I guess sometimes, like, I like creating things, but I don't necessarily create things with a meaning. So I guess it's like sort of empty creation. I mean, sometimes I create, like, usually, like, when I've created a piece of artwork or a drawing, and I have a clear idea, like, okay, what this is about, then I can have it come up with a name. But if I'm just like doodling something, or I just create a piece of work that just I like how it looks, I don't really have. I mean, honestly, is that even necessarily that big of a deal? Like, how many classic pieces? Like not to really compare myself to classic artists, but like, how many pieces by well-respected artists just are untitled, or like untitled still life number blah 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 blah. And not everything has to have a compelling name. Anyway, I think I just went on another tangent. After I'm done eating, I'm going to try to get started on that fictional landscape drawing thing. Already wasted enough time. Let's just get to basically figuring out what we're doing with this. Alright, it stopped recording because the memory card got full. So, I mean, obviously it's not a complete image, but if you could just sort of kind of give an idea of how I think certain just random household objects arranged in a particular way could be used as a basis of creating like buildings or landscapes or an environment or a background or something like that to give an idea. Some of the objects probably still read more like it's like household object, but of course, if one were to continue, I'm actually like, kind of interested, like more like how this sort of thing came out, like that little object there, and sort of this, like the how the flashlight like that's what this thing is. Still kind of doesn't really read as though it's like part of this, but of course like adding more onto it, like if I were to go and continue and maybe add sort of either things that connected or did something to make it look more as though it's like a part of the object, because whatever, and just giving sort of just random objects and even adding, because like in the original thing, this like trying to turn this, I turned this into sort of like a whole sort of building, whereas originally it was just like a bar and this area was like empty. I decided to fill that in, just because of like the angle that I shot in, it looked like this entire thing could be seen as sort of a singular large building or object, and just putting sort of the idea or the remnant or the indication of, I guess, like windows or other smaller details can work to sort of sell the object or the objects as larger structures. I don't know. I don't even know if like this is useful for anyone or if this is interesting. But again, it's just like something that I wanted to try to do, because I've had like sort of the idea of just doing something like that. Yeah. So that's the end of day 22. And I don't think I'm going to actually get to upload day 21's footage today. I'm going to have to do it tomorrow, and hopefully I get both day 21 and day 22's footage uploaded tomorrow, just so I stay more or less on schedule.